Hi, everyone. Bill Renchler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. It's Wednesday, and that means it's Crime Stoppers Day. And happy to finally have Jared Minary from the Lincoln Police Department back in the studio. It has been a month.
Has it
Jared.
really?
It's too long.
It has been a while. I guess didn't realize it had been a full month.
Yeah, we had I canceled on you. I think then you canceled on me, and then it was Thanksgiving, and now here we are.
Life's crazy sometimes.
It is, especially the last 2 months, last 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, and then we're heading into even crazier times. So
we are. So, again, Jared, if you forgot, when I have you on, we talk about crimes that we need help solving.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know. It could go any direction sometimes. So 2 of them today, both kind of in the shoplifting variety.
Yep.
And we're going to start at, I believe, Casey's gas station with this individual.
606 West A Street. So this is back just before Halloween. It'll be October 30th. It was a Wednesday. He goes into that Casey's and basically ends up grabbing 4 bottles of Hennessy. I mean, it's popular. It's good. I mean, a lot of people like to drink Hennessy, so I can see why.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he decided that instead of paying for his Hennessy, he was going to just take these things and steal them as he walked out the door. We know he left in a silver-colored Buick LeSabre. We think it's about a 2000 to 2005 vehicle. Obviously, you can see here it's got some pretty recognizable damage on that back quarter panel. So we're hoping that somebody can identify him. I think they're really good images of both the car and the guy involved. So I think we should be able to get some tips on him and the vehicle to get back to him. So.
Yeah, it looks like Hispanic male there. I would say 20s maybe, or younger. And then obviously, again, like you said, a pretty distinct dent there in that back quarter panel.
Yeah, it looks like he may have some stickers maybe in the window or something in that back window. So those kind of things always come up when we're looking at vehicles, just to kind of give us an idea who it is and track it back to that person. So maybe this rings a bell. Maybe you see the dent, the stickers, or something like that, and you go, hey, I know who owns that car.
And Rebecca, when she sent the email, when she was talking about this case, she said, hey, this is a great example of having a good security camera.
Absolutely.
You get clear images, and Christmas is around the corner, and you might be shopping for some home security.
Yeah, just a helpful tip if you plan to steal. I wouldn't go to Casey's. They have good cameras.
I think we've talked about that before because we've had a couple other cases. So, Jared, again, how can folks, if they know anything about this, again, the individual or the vehicle, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. Of course, you can always call the police department and just give us a phone call there and talk to an officer at that 441-6000 number. Or if you want to remain anonymous and you may want to be eligible for a reward, that's when you would call Crime Stoppers. That number, 402-475-3600. Of course, you can always go on the website, LincolnCrimeStoppers.com, to see these cases we're talking about today and all the other stuff we keep posting. So you can get some good pictures and videos. Sometimes they're even kind of entertaining. And, of course, we have the P3 app, and that is, of course, my favorite, just because if we needed to, we could still ask you some follow-up questions and get some answers to some of the questions that maybe you didn't know we needed. So.
And, like I said, Christmas, new phones maybe under the tree.
Yeah.
Download that P3 app right away. First thing, right?
could be your gift purchasing power, right?
That's right.
Get a little bit of a reward, get some gift purchasing power.
There you go. All right, so case number 2, we actually had a different case number 2, but it was on the morning show, and it sounds like you guys have already got a good suspect.
Yeah, we actually got a pretty good suspect, so we thought, why beat a horse, as they say? And so
let's go to Target.
We're going to skip that sucker, and we're going to move on to Target.
Yeah, there we go.
So good job, whoever gave us that great tip. We're going to take
They remained anonymous. They might have used the P3 app.
So far, so good. Because I don't know who tipped it. So, so we're moving on to Target. So basically, this is another case we want to talk about today. This lady, she went into the Target at 48th and O Street. Apparently, she's been in there repeatedly, multiple times, and they've been kind of tracking her in a bunch of shoplifts. This last time she was in there, just this last Monday, November 25th, and they say that she came into the children's department, stole a couple of children's clothing items. She basically had a Super Saver bag in her shopping cart, along with some coats. So she takes the items she wanted to steal, jams them into this Super Saver bag, throws her coats over the Super Saver bag, and then goes to Starbucks, of course, because you got to get your Starbucks on the way out. And then when she goes to the self-checkout, she buys a couple of small things, but she does not pay for that stuff she put in the bags and under her coats. So the loss prevention team there actually tried to stop her, tried to talk to her, weren't able to apprehend her or identify her. So we're trying to get the information out there so we can get a name for her and lead that back to her so that we can get that case and whatever cases that Target's also had with her in the past, all those cleaned up at once. We know that she was last seen on foot walking northbound on 48th Street. So,
do we know, has it been the same target every time?
I don't know that one. I know it's
48th,
obviously it has been that store multiple times, but I don't know if she's also hit other stores in
Okay.
town. I can say that she looks pretty familiar to me. Wouldn't surprise me if it's somebody that we've seen before. So I just can't place it in my head. That's my memory problems right there.
And that's why it's good that the other officers are at the break room and they're watching us right now, Jared, because they're going to see something and it's going to jog their memory.
It happens. We get a lot of officers that'll see something on the news and they'll be like, hey, I know that person, when they didn't know we were looking for them.
Are they eligible for an anonymous reward through Crime Stoppers?
Technically, they would not be. Yeah. They would not be. I can't say who's calling anonymously, I guess, but if it's an officer, they basically usually aren't looking for the reward. That's just part of their job, and they enjoy getting those cases cleared. So we've never had that problem. Knock on whatever wood I can find around here.
There's a little bit right there under the wrap.
We've never had to consider that option.
Well, there you go. Okay. So again, if you know anything about either two of those cases, again, Jared just talked about it, but best ways to get in touch with Lincoln Police or whoever it might be, you can see it there on your screen. And Jared, we also wanted to, you kind of alluded to it a little bit there with this Target case, but it is obviously the shopping season. We wanted to also kind of touch on best practices.
Yep.
If you encounter shoplifting, if you suspect shoplifting, what's kind of the best way for those folks who are very graciously working in the retail sector over the next several weeks?
I mean, if you're working in the retail sector, a lot of stores have their own policies on how they can report. Some don't report, some do. Some will contact shoplifters as they're running out the door, some won't. There's various different levels. You can ask your local criminals which ones have the best opportunities for them to get out and which ones don't, because they know it better than most of us do. But I will say that a lot of these stores, the clerks are very attentive. But there are some that just kind of don't pay much attention, don't realize it's happening. Maybe they don't have the experience to know when it's happening. But obviously, if you have people that are kind of being suspicious, you can always call the police department. We are always able to respond and help you out. I know a lot of times they say, I didn't want to bother you because I wasn't sure. A lot of times that gut feeling is correct on just about every case that people have ever asked me about. They're like, I don't know if I should have called. Yeah, you should have called. It was good enough you should have called. And worst case scenario, we can say, yeah, it's nothing, and you go about your day, but thanks for the offer. So feel free to call us on those cases. I'm not saying call us on every bug that crawls across the street or whatever, but obviously if you feel like something's really going on, that's probably the right time to call. And when your gut's going off, it usually is right. I will say that don't apprehend people that are shoplifting in your store unless you have to. Most policies say they won't. Just get the best information you can, especially if you got cameras. We want that video. That's going to be the best option for us to find them later. We don't want anybody getting hurt. And that's really, we want to make sure everybody goes home at the end of the day, no matter what, whether you're on either side of the law. So that's the best thing to do, is just get as much information as you can, and we'll go track them down, and then we can give them the ticket, and everybody goes home safely.
And the previous personal banker in me would also say, if you have any big bills come across, sometimes stores don't accept anything over a certain denomination.
Correct.
But I would imagine counterfeit issues might crop up this time of year too.
Absolutely. We do have, we can talk about this in another area, but we do have a lot of people that will travel and do stuff. So you'll have groups that aren't from Lincoln that just literally travel through the country and just hit places. And we're on I-80. It's a massive interstate for travel like that. When you're talking crime and drugs, we get a lot of it. And so we do get some people that will come to town sometimes trying to pass off fake bills. We get some pickpockets. They're really not local. Usually we don't have a lot of pickpocket community in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's great. But we do get them that will come through. So obviously watching what you're doing as a clerk or as a customer, paying attention to those little details, making sure that somebody's not acting suspicious when they're around you. Again, your gut's going to go off a lot of times. If somebody's standing too close to you while you're shopping and your purse is in your cart, that might be the time to go, I'm going to hold on to my purse just to make sure that there's not an issue. I've seen some amazing video from, for instance, there was a case I remember from Whole Foods where a lady was just shopping at Whole Foods. Her cart was in front of her. She had her purse there, and one of these guys just comes up, starts talking to her, while his associate basically takes money right out of her purse. She didn't even know it happened until later. So it still to this day amazes me when I go shopping with anybody how much people just leave their purses in their carts and don't pay much attention to it because it's just what they do. It's just kind of the norm. So just be cautious this season. Obviously, anything could happen anytime, but the best thing you can do is just be aware.
Yeah, that sleight of hand is, used in this case is obviously wrong.
Right.
But it's impressive that
if you're a magician, yes, it's great.
Yeah, yes.
That's the proper
magician.
career time
Yes,
to use the sleight of hand.
Proper. And then I would also add, again, I'm guilty of this. I have a number of Christmas presents in the trunk of my vehicle.
Yep.
Make sure your vehicle doors are locked.
Absolutely.
Now more than ever.
Yep. Make sure they're locked, but not only that, make sure that you have stuff that's hidden away. Just keep it out of sight. Really keep stuff out of your car if you don't have to. I know that sometimes we like to hide our gifts for our loved ones in places where they don't normally go, like your car. But keeping those someplace else might be a better idea. Also, don't go posting on Facebook that you're going to be out of town this season, because a lot of times that just opens a door for somebody to do something, at your house when you're not there, and you don't want to come home and have all your Christmas gifts gone.
That would be sad.
That's a bad Christmas.
That would be a very bad Christmas. Jared, I didn't clear this with you, but I want to bring it up.
Okay.
This is a picture of you. Wanted to say congratulations to you. You had
Thank you.
Missed, I think, well, actually, no, it was in between weeks. But you had been out in Indianapolis, wasn't it?
Yep.
Getting a certification.
Yes.
And you are now one of 56 in the world.
Yeah.
That have this basically forensic video certification.
Yep. And I would say I'm proud of it. I'm not always great at accepting congratulations, but it's a big accomplishment for me personally. There are a lot of people across the country that do this kind of work. A lot of them don't necessarily go on to this level just because it's a large undertaking.
Yeah.
And so it is an accomplishment for me, and I'm happy that the police department has really supported me in getting this, because that's a lot of training hours that I've gone through just to get that certificate right there. But I do believe that some of the video work that I've done has made a difference for Lincoln. So I think they got more than their money back in the end. So,
well, feather in the cap to you, Jared. Congratulations. That's super impressive. Again, you were telling me off camera all the stuff that went into getting this, and very impressive. So congratulations to you.
Thank
sir.
you.
You're absolutely welcome. I'll take it down now, so we'll stop embarrassing you. Is there anything else you want to make sure we hit on before we let folks go?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we talked about a lot of the safety stuff. The only other thing that I had written down is just obviously when you're out in the parking lots, make sure you're parking in well-lit areas, locking your car. I mean, we didn't hit on those, but they're pretty common standard things I hope you know by now. So
most people should. Sometimes it's just nice to get a
reminder.
gentle reminder. Yeah. So, all right. Well, Jared, appreciate your time as always. It's wonderful having you in. Again, always enjoy it. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. Again, another edition of Crime Stoppers. Again, catch us again next week. We should have UNLPD's Captain Pembleton on. Yep. I keep seeing Captain Baker in the background of these. He was at the volleyball match out in Penn State.
Yeah, he's got a good spot there.
Yeah, he ditched us here to go hang out with John Cook and the Husker volleyball squad.
No,
I can't blame him either. That's definitely a trade up. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. We'll see you again next week. Hope everyone has a nice Wednesday.